he come out with all his guns, about 20 of them, and he's going click, click, click. I heard a great big bang, and I felt the pain like that, and I went, what was that?
Hi everybody, Pete here from Thairish Times. What's the story? I hope you're keeping well. So today we're going to meet Brian from England, who has spent 12 years living in Thailand. Brian is a real adventurer. He's hiked to the top of mountains with the most beautiful views of Thailand. He's gone deep into jungles. And today he's going to tell us a few of his stories. And especially one about being shot by the son of a Thai police chief, which, well, watch out for that one. There's some funny stories here. Brian is a real character. He also has a YouTube channel as well. I'll leave the link down below. I'll post it in the comment section as well. Check out his YouTube channel. I really like it. So without further ado, let's go meet Brian. All right, you ready? We get into it. I'm really excited about this story. I know it's going to be going. Get your, is that a cup of tea you're having there?
Coffee. I'm trying to stay awake for you.
Right, let's get straight into it. So Brian, pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to do this with yourself. Let's go right back to the start. Tell us about your life before you ended up coming to Thailand.
Oh yeah, well, I'm from Manchester in England, but before I came to Thailand, I lived in Greece for 6 years. I lived in Greece. I lived in Athens for a little while, moved to the island of Corfu, and then moved to Cyprus, which I stayed in Cyprus for 5 years.
And what were you doing there?
I did a few things, but one of my jobs, I worked on a bungee jump on the beach every day on Ayia Napa Beach, Nissi Beach in Ayia Napa.
Are we talking the 90s here?
No, early 2000s. Yeah, the early 2000s, about 2003, 2004. I was working there on Nissi Beach.
That was when Ayia Napa was kind of big, wasn't it? Then I remember it being really popular back then.
Yeah, there'd been the TV programs, and it was really popping. It was quite busy, but so yeah, I started working on the bungee jump there, which it's quite funny actually, because I did a bungee jump in the 90s, and in Rhodes in Greece, my first ever bungee jump, and I swore to myself I would never put myself through that terror again. And then fast forward to when I was living in Cyprus, one of my friends worked on the bungee jump, and they needed someone. So he said, do you want a job? So I said, go on then. I don't have to jump, do I? He says, yeah, you'll have to jump every day about 5 or 6 times, to advertise when it's quiet and things like that. So I put myself through the terror again to do a job, which was quite funny, because every time I used to go up in the crane, I'd close my eyes and hold on to the cage, and I'd be going, I need to get another job. I need to get another job. I can't be doing this. And then, one day, the bungee master, who was a Greek guy, a local guy, Paz, he said to me, he goes, Brian, how many times you jump? And so I thought about it, said, I don't know, hundreds. He goes, why do you still make my cage shake? And there I am, terrified. So, but every day, 5 or 6 times, I used to do the same thing. Close the eyes and dream of another job where my feet can stay on the ground.
And did you ever have to do that with a hangover?
Yes, every day. Every day. Ayia Napa, I mean, you go out every night in Ayia Napa. It's hard to stay home, especially where my apartment was, because it was bump, bump, bump. All you could hear was the music. That's one of the reasons why I left Cyprus in the end, really, because the partying was just, it was every day. It was full on. So I thought, I can't do this forever. I need a new path, a new life. But another job I did in Cyprus was I worked with a good Irish friend from Achill Island in County Mayo. which I went to see him. I stayed over there for a few months. But we used to sell horny hot dogs.
What are horny hot dogs?
Horny hot dogs. They were like huge hot dogs that we used to tell people they've got Viagra in and they make you horny, but we were only joking. But we used to sell them at 1 o'clock in the morning when we worked in a bar for a Cypriot guy. And he said to us one day, "Do you want to sell hot dogs outside? I've got a hot dog stand." And it was covered in webs and spider webs, and it not been used for a while. So and he started to tell us how much money we can earn, how much money you use. So we said, "Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it every other night." Sean does one night. I do. Sean Malloy is his name in Ackle Island.
He's been
Sorry,
named.
Sean. Well, he was the boss of the Ackle Tourism Authority down there as well. But anyway, we used to sell hot dogs, only hot dogs. And we had a street cone, a traffic cone that we used to hold up 1 in the morning. All the music had stopped for the bars. Everyone was making their way to nightclubs. And we used to shout at the top of our voices through this traffic cone, "Horny hot dogs!" And we were famous. We were famous. Everywhere we went on the island, people would scream out from a distance, "Horny hot dogs!"
And did you get good business from doing that?
We used to have a queue. We used to have a queue all the time because we used a bit of comedy with it as well. We used to abuse our customers. Things like, "Put your own sauce on. I'm not your mother." I've got a queue and things like that. And bit
of banter.
A bit of banter. We used banter and people loved it. So we used to have a queue. We used to have about 140 bread buns a night. And when you're sold out, you can pack up the stall and go clubbing. And it used to take us some nights an hour to sell 140 of them. On slow nights, 2 hours. So we used to always sell out, and it was really good money. So Sean and I used to eat in a restaurant every night before we went to work. We were earning that good money in Cyprus.
So, Brian, let's get into the Thailand stuff. So how did you end up moving to Thailand?
Well, I was a little bit after Cyprus. I moved back to England for a little while. 2 years I moved back to England for, and then it was just depressing. The weather was depressing, and we had a bit of a high court battle with Sony Computer Entertainment Inc. Europe. My brother had a big business, and Sony accused us of infringing on their patent. So we had a bit of a court case, which we won. Sony run away after spending a fortune. They spent about £200,000, but they didn't have a case. So after we dealt with that, I said I already have family in Thailand. An older brother living in Thailand who lives in Koh Chang. So I said, right, I'm going to. The weather was depressing, and I had a bit of stress. So I thought, go and live in Thailand. I was only planning to come here for 6 months, a year, something like that, to relax. But that was 12 years ago. I've been in Thailand now for 12 years.
Wow. And all right, so let's get into your adventure stories, right? So I've checked out your channel, which I love. I love your channel, and I do love adventure stories in Thailand. They are magical, right? So you've hiked to the top of mountains. You've gone deep into jungle rainforests. I saw a video there earlier where you were eating some wild plants in a jungle. So tell us about the hike in Thailand where you almost died when you were doing it alone.
Wow, yes. That was on the island of Koh Chang. It was the first hike I'd ever done in Thailand, and I went alone. I did phone a local guide, and they weren't running at the time because it was in the rainy season. So they weren't running at the time because it was quiet. So I thought I had a map from All Trails. So I thought, well, I'll do it myself. So it was a 700-meter elevation climb. So it was all going quite well at the start. I was about 4 hours in to the hike, and I was like 700 meters up. I was near the top. And then I started feeling unwell and started becoming dehydrated. And so I thought, right, I'm going to turn around and head back down. So I headed back down, and then I lost the trail. There were some fallen trees, and I lost the trail. I've ended up in thick bush, 2 kilometers away from where I'd parked the bike, 700 meters in elevation. So I'm going through this bush, and I'm getting really tired now and struggling, and I'm dehydrated. And I came across a little trickle and a pool of water, which turns out to be the start. It was the top of a waterfall. So I got in this pool of water. I was, sweat was pouring. I was hot. I got my bag off and everything. I got in this pool of water, and I stayed there for 10, 15 minutes. And I thought, right, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of here? I said, I can't go back and look for the trail, because that was exhausting, just getting here from where the trail was. So I thought, well, water goes down, so follow the waterfall down. So that's what I did. I started going down, but in my mind, it was I know what waterfalls can be like. You can suddenly come to a sheer drop. It could be 100 meters, could be 50 meters, things like that. And then you're stuck. You can't get down then unless you can climb down it. So that was going through my mind, and I did. I came across about 20 meters, just sheer drop. I was stood at the waterfall, just looking down, going, "How am I going to get down here?" And time was ticking on as well. It's not long before night is going to come now. So, and at the top of that, I looked at my phone, and it said 2 kilometers straight ahead. So it was where I left my motorbike. And then I dropped my phone in the water, and it stopped working. So now I haven't got any map or anything. I'm on my own. My water's run out. So I had no alternative but to fill up from the waterfall. And so I went back in the jungle and climbed down the trees and got past the 20-meter sheer drop. I climbed down the trees and then back onto the waterfall. So I came to like 2 or 3 drops like that. They gradually got smaller, and then I would just get in a pool of water and just stay there for 5 minutes and then go, "Come on, Brian, keep going. You don't want to be in here all night." Because later research that I did, it's quite common for people to get lost in this jungle and have to be rescued on the island. So anyway, I was walking down this waterfall. I was covered in scratches and bruises. There was a couple of times I went on a slide, so sliding down, having to grab branches to stop myself, and I was pretty cut up, pretty banged up. And then I got to where it was level, and I started seeing water pipes that farmers used to run off to fields and things like that. So I thought, well, that's a good sign. So I kept going, and then I eventually stumbled out of that waterfall and out of the jungle at my bike. It was about 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. I just lay on the floor beside my bike for about 15 minutes. And then I got up and I patted myself on the back, for getting out of there, doing the right thing, coming down the waterfall. But, that's a vital lesson learned there. It's Thailand. It can be dangerous doing hikes on your own. especially in unfamiliar terrain, unfamiliar wildlife and things like that. So, yeah, from that, I learned, never go on those types of hikes on your own.
Can I ask, at that moment where you lost the trail, like you see about that kind of stuff in movies where someone loses the trail and they start to panic. And I think if I was in that situation, I'd panic. How did you panic, or what was going on through your head? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I did panic because, I had my GoPro with me at the time and I didn't record anything. I panicked and I went into survival mode. There was a big panic because I'd been hiking up the mountain for 4 hours. So, and the trail was winding. And so I sort of knew where I am, and I knew the difficulties of trying to get down. So, I was worried. Yeah, definitely. I was more worried about having to stay in there at night, up on this mountain at night time. And I didn't tell anyone that I was doing it either. Even when I got back to the hotel, they said, you should have told us just in case, and so that's another tip, always tell someone where you're going. But yeah, I was terrified, and I wish I'd recorded it now, but, I left the GoPro in the bag and everything. I was just, I was worried about snakes and spiders.
That's another question I have for you. Have you ever, you must have come across dangerous animals like snakes and wild boars and elephants in the jungle, have you?
Yeah. It's Carl and I regularly go hiking in places where there are wild elephants. We've never actually come across one because they can sense you come in and they move out off the trail, things like that. Wild boar, we see a lot of evidence of them, but never actually come across one. But we don't really want to come across one of those. They can attack. But snakes, for sure. I've seen quite a few snakes at my time. There was one incident at Palau waterfall in the King Cobra National Park. I was on my own again, but it's just a simple waterfall. That one, it's not too difficult. So I'd hiked up and I was at the 5th level of the waterfall, and I went for a little swim in the pool because I was all hot and sweaty. To me, that's like a little reward after a climb. You're all hot to get a nice ice cold pool of water. So there I am, swimming away without a care in the world, relaxing in the peace and tranquility. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this thing moving, and I looked, and it was a big black, what was it called? King Cobra, big long black thing. Must have been about 10 or 12 feet long, something like this. It was big, and it was in the water, about 10 feet away from me. So I was like, whoa. So I was just trying not to like make a big scene, I was just trying to get away quickly as much as I can, treading water. So, but the force of the waterfall, the snake wasn't really interested in me. I think it might have fallen in or something because it was trying to get out and it couldn't get out of the water. And the force of the waterfall was bringing it around to me. So as I'm swimming away, the water, the snake's looking the opposite way. It's not looking at me, but the water's bringing it closer to me. So I was like, whoa, swim faster, Brian. Come on, get out of there. So I managed to get a bit of a distance and get out of that pool. It took it about 10, 15 minutes. It managed to get out and go into the jungle. So, but scary. That was scary. Yes, definitely.
And you're good mates with Carl from Carl's Thailand, who we had on the channel there a couple of months ago, who tells some great stories about his adventures. And you told me that both of you got injured on a trek that you were both doing together, and you had to, I think, call off the trek, was it?
Yeah. Which that was in Saraburi, part of Koh Chang National Park. You see, this was it was in 2020, I think that was, or 2021, when the pandemic was on. It had been closed off, the jungle. Nobody had hiked in there for a lot, and we had the map. So, and we'd been dying to doing the climb. They usually do organized tours there. So we'd been dying to do it. So we said, like, come on, let's go. We've got the GPS tracks and everything. Let's do it. But the waterfall is a 4-kilometer hike into the jungle before you get to tier 1. And it's a 7-tier waterfall. So, so we're hiking into the jungle. And as we started hiking in, it started raining quite heavily. And we kept losing the trail because there's lots of wild elephants there. And because no one had used the trail for a long time, it had all become overgrown. And the elephants, they usually like trash the trail. They knock the trees over, the branches over, and then they create false trails when they walk through the jungle. So we'd followed a few false trails and have to get back on the track. And we managed to get to the waterfall. So we started climbing the waterfall. I think we were at about the 2nd or 3rd tier, and it was still raining. It didn't stop raining. It rained, so everything's wet now. So I just stepped on this rock and my feet just went from me in an instant. There was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't even put my hands up to stop myself, falling. My head just went crashing into a rock there and split right open. So I was out of it for a little while. So I got up, and then Carl almost immediately got his foot caught in between another rock, and he went down. He broke his iPhone. He dropped his iPhone, nearly broke his leg. So Carl was down while I'm injured, and I've got a medical kit with me. So I'm administering medical assistance to myself while Carl's going, oh, my leg, oh, my phone, where's my phone? And I'm going, oh, my head. And we've got a video of it. We actually did a video of it, the failed attempt on that one. So yeah, I put a bandage around my head, bandaged it all up, and we decided to abandon our climb up the waterfall at that point and sort of return. But we still had a few hours hike ahead of us to get out of there, through snake infested wild elephants around, lush tropical jungle, and it didn't stop raining. It was raining all day. So I think we checked on the GPS at the end of the day, and we'd walked about 16 kilometers, in total. But yeah, we managed to get out of there, but we both got injured on that one. So we were very lucky.
What about, now there's another classic story coming up here. What's the one about getting shot by the son of the police chief on your 2nd ever day in Thailand?
Oh, right. Yeah, that was, in 2006, I visited Thailand for the first time, just for a holiday, to come and visit my older brother who lived, I won't say where he lived because I don't want to identify the chief. I don't want to get shot again.
Okay.
Okay, so we're the 2nd day in, and my brother is a computer expert. So, and he helps a lot of locals with their computer problems. So this son of a police chief, he'd called my brother up and said he had a problem with his computer. Can you come round? I'll give you some beers and whiskey and what have you while you fix it. So my brother said, yeah, okay. So he took me with him. And he said to me on the way, he said, by the way, he'll probably get all his guns out. He's got lots of guns. He likes to show off his guns. So no problem. So we're sat in a little courtyard where his computer is and a big table. And my brother's working away on the computer, fixing the problem. And the guys give us some beers, a bit of whiskey, and we're having a drink. And he come out with all his guns. About 20 of them, Colt this and Colt that, laser sights on. So we were just playing around with them, going, give us all your money, like you do, like you do. coming from the UK when you're not experienced to guns, you know. And so we're messing around with them like that. So the Thai guy, he had a little, it was like like, you know, the cowboy guns where you open them up and put the bullets in. You know, and they got the revolving barrel. It was one of those, a little silver Thai made gun. It was a 2.2, so not a very powerful one. He's trying to fire it in the air, but he's recently oiled the gun, so it won't fire. So we're looking at him, watching it, and he's going click, 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 and it won't fire. So he's doing it for that long. We've started ignoring him now. You know, there's someone, give us all your money. You know, again, you know, messing about with the laser sights and things like that. And then I heard a great big bang and felt something right here on my head. We've still got the scar there, about an inch above the eye. So a great big bang, and I felt the pain like that. And I went, what was that? And then just seen the blood coming out like that. So I've gone to my brother. My brother's talking about some rubbish. I've gone, I think I've been shot, Dave. And he went, what do you mean? And I went like that. And he's like, oh, blimey, good heavens. You know, so he's up. And then all this guy's Thai family have all come out. And this is my second day in Thailand. I don't know any of the language or anything. You know, and they're all talking in Thai. And my brother's quite fluent in Thai. So they're all talking. I'm going, what are they saying, Dave? What are they saying? And he's going, they're saying, why did you shoot Dave's brother? So what we did, we got some, they're saying you need to go to hospital to have stitches, you know, because it was a bit of a cut. And we're looking, they're trying to feel, can you feel metal in there? And we couldn't. So I said, there's no way I'm going to sit in a hospital for hours to get stitches. So we ended up getting some butterfly plasters, you know, the ones with and basically we stuck it together. So there's still a little bit of a scar there, but we did a good job, stuck it together, put a bandage around my head, and we carried on.
You continued on with the party then?
We continued on, yeah, and we were having a bit of a laugh about it, you know. We're saying that, oh, that's one for the grandkids. And things like that. We carried on.
If a bullet hits your head, like, why did it not go into your head and kill you? How did they glance off your? Is that
we'd worked it out. Is it wasn't the full bullet. Is what happened is we inspected the gun afterwards, and it exploded, basically, the bullet in the gun. So he was firing it away from me. But the gap in the barrel, the round barrel thing, the gap there, part of the bullet had fired out of that when it exploded and went straight for my head. So it wasn't like the full-on bullet. So and plus the 2.2s, they're not that powerful. If you watch gang programs, documentaries, you'll see lots of them going, this was a 2.2, this was a 2.2. You know, they can bounce off you, those bullets. They're not too powerful, but it was part of the bullet, basically, sort of shrapnel of the bullet that hit me. But the funny thing is, we went back to my brother's a couple of hours later, and he had a little apartment, and down below there were two motorcycle police officers sat there having a drink. They were on duty, but you know, they were having an odd beer. So we went down to join them. So my brother's telling them the story. So, you know, and I'm from the UK, and you tell the police something like this, what's just happened, you know, they're shocked and they want to know all about it. But they were laughing. These police, and they were like, ha, 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 ha. We bet it was a 2.2, one of the Tide made ones, wasn't it? You know, and they sort of knew everything. But they found it hilarious, you know. It's but yeah, that was I was lucky that day, because an inch lower, that had gone in my eye, you know. So I would have lost an eye, or possibly, you know, death there, you know.
You have another great story of going on a trip to rural Thailand to visit your wife's family for the first time.
All right, that's actually in Laos. That's in Savannah, Laos. My wife's from Laos. So, oh yeah, that was awesome. The first time I ever went is we got on a bus. My wife said it's 2 hours, and then we're to go where my father will pick us up and take us to the village. So 1 hour into this bus journey, it just stops at the side of the road. So, and then two pickup trucks come, and it's full of livestock, like pigs and ducks and chickens and things like that. So, and they started taking all the luggage from underneath the bus out and putting it on the roof of the bus. Well, what, they're not going to put all this livestock on the bus, are they? So we got off the bus and we're watching it, and yeah, they're getting the pigs out like that, and they're putting them all in the bus. So we must be there for about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, while they're loading up this bus, and another pickup truck come, and it's like one woman, she bought all this livestock and she's taking it to the village. So you're allowed to take it all on the public bus, apparently. So our 2 hour journey eventually turned into like 5 hours before we got to where her father was, and then we had another journey into the village there. But that was straight out of the old movie sets. That it was right, and we all on the bus all the way. We're going with all this livestock on there. We could hear them all, the chickens going and the pigs and everything. But really amusing. But when we got to the village for the first time as well, my wife's family, they've got a big house on stilts, really big one. So with some separate rooms upstairs. So I asked my wife, I said, where are we staying? I want to go and throw my bag up there, and which room we were staying in. So she told me which room it was. So I go up there and walk in the room, and leaning against the bed is a Kalashnikov machine gun, just leaning there with the magazine thing still in it, Kalashnikov. So, like a kid in a candy shop, I was like, wow, look at that. Thing that. So playing around with it. I didn't shoot myself, so that was okay. But the wife came up and said, what's that doing there? Give it me. And I was going, wait, take some photos first. Got some photos hanging around here, posing with the Kalashnikov. But it was okay because my wife's father was a general in the Lao army, so he was allowed to have the machine gun.
And he obviously had it for protection. Is it dangerous around there, or why would you have
rural Lao can be dangerous. I've heard stories, possibly for protection, because I've heard stories of when we got there, I was told, do not go anywhere on the bike at night time, because what can happen is some unscrupulous people, they'll put a wire across, from trees across the road or something, and then just wait for you to come along, and people get decapitated, I've heard, in these places, and they wait till you come off, and then they'll take everything. They'll take your bike, your money, everything. So this is like, in remote places in Laos. So I suppose like they all have weapons there for protection. It's the local police walk around with them Kalashnikovs in the villages, and they don't look like police. They just look, they could be a gangster or the local mafia. You don't know. They just wear like army jackets and things like that, and they walk around with big machine guns. So, but yeah, I never had any problem. So I was there, but I didn't go out riding the bike at night.
I wouldn't either. So Brian, what about your life in Thailand? Whereabouts are you living in Thailand?
Well, I live in Bangkok. So that's where the wife's work is and everything, and my daughter goes to school. So we live in Bangkok, on not in the city. Outside, we live in the suburbs of Bangkok. So not far from Bangkok, the more Bangkok. To me, I like this sort of side of the city because it's not touristy. You're in with the locals, which is how I like it, and it's really easy to get out of Bangkok, to go on our adventures.
That's what I was noticing about your channel, right? You come across as being quite a happy-go-lucky kind of a guy, someone that's very non-judgmental, and I haven't heard you complain once about anything on your channel. And I love the way that you mix with the locals. You have barbecues with your wife and your family, and it looks like you all and really enjoy it. So it looks to me like you've integrated well in society there. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm integrated. I'm trying to get better at the language. I'm not fluent by all means. They, when they're talking, I still like, I get the drift of what they're talking about. But now I can engage more. But yeah, we go with the wife's friends all the time. We go camping in the rice paddies and things like that. So yeah. So when I came to Thailand, because my brother lived in the suburbs, it was one of the first places I came, and then I travelled into the tourist spots, like Sukhumvit and Ceylon in Bangkok, and to me, I preferred living amongst the locals. I like the local ways because it's sensory overload and all the time, there's something exciting going on all the time, and sometimes you don't fully understand it, but I like that, I like that getting involved with the locals. So yeah, I've integrated quite well. We do a lot of things with the locals and that they're great people. Thailand, the Thai people are the greatest people, and with my channel as well, it's I never say anything negative about other people, and there's a lot of things that annoy me about Thailand. Obviously coming from the UK, there's a lot of things you can imagine. You experience yourself as those little annoyances, but that's part and parcel. It's their country. I'm in their back garden. And I go along with the way they do things. And so now I have a new attitude about it. I enjoy those little annoyances now that they come up with. I find them more funny now than annoying. To me, this is like my home now. It's when I landed here 12 years ago, I've not been back to the UK since. I haven't left Thailand, only to go to Laos. So,
and would you ever go back to the UK just for a holiday, just to see how it is back there?
No interest. I'm happy here. I'm happy. This is my home. It's, I mean, obviously, like the UK, it's just far too cold and wet for me, and that's why I went to live in Cyprus, in Greece, and then when I first travelled and to live in Greece, and everything was just so easy. You can sit outside and eat a meal, drink a beer, something you just can't do at home, and you just, the cost of living, the quality of living for me, like outside, having travelled and lived outside the UK, is just like gone up, so my quality of life here in Thailand is a lot better than in the UK. Personally, for me, it's a lot better.
Can I ask you, what do you do for work? Are you working over there, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I do a bit of work online and everything. I work for a company in Hong Kong, and that. So I'm pretty good with computers and things like that. So I can work remotely.
Okay.
And I've done a bit of teaching over here and things like that, and in my time, and so sometimes like the online work is very quiet, and I need to do things. So sometimes I'll go and do some teaching, at local school and things like that. So Yeah, but you know, I don't need too much money here in Thailand because the cost of living is low. So
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to
yeah,
here.
yes, definitely. I mean, you're in Dublin, yes?
Oh,
You know,
Dublin is one
so
of the most expensive cities in Europe.
yeah,
Crazy.
I've been to the Guinness factory and everything there. I've done the tours. Yeah, beautiful place, great people, beautiful place. But yeah, it was pricey. Just having a beer. Yeah, I think I needed to take out a mortgage just to buy a beer in a bar.
I know. I could go on all day about it. So, what's your favorite place in Thailand then? Of all the places you've traveled, all the adventures that you've had?
Okay, well, you know, I like the mountains and I like waterfalls and I like beaches, but one place in Thailand that incorporates everything for me is Koh Chang, the island of Koh Chang. You know, it's also called the Jungle Island because about 80% of the island is covered in lush rainforest. You know,
Hmm.
so you've got the beaches, pristine beaches, and it's not over touristy. You know, it's not on the tourist trail. You know, it's still sleepy, it's undeveloped. You know, so you can lie on the beach in the morning, you know, and climb in a mountain in the afternoon, you know, or climb up to a waterfall, and you know, and go and adventure into the jungle.
It's got everything. It's got nice hotels, nice restaurants, beautiful beaches with not many people on them. And then it has mountains. If you want to go trekking in the mountains, you want to see waterfalls, you can do that. You want peaceful quietness. You find that in Koh Chang. You want busy party nightlife. You have that in Koh Chang. It's got everything. Um, it's definitely a place. There was a couple during COVID. I was so close to actually buying some property and well, going through the motions of buying some property. I had my eyes on something, and I was like,
I see you did
dream.
some videos about property.
I
Oh yeah,
did. I
you
was close, man. There
yeah,
was a couple of
yeah.
things that was very close on a couple of times in Koh
Oh
Chang.
yeah. I mean, I would. It's one of the places I've sort of marked on that. You know, we were thinking about going there and starting a business. You know, because we do love it there, and it's like you were thinking about buying there, and the expat community on Koh Chang, which own a lot of the businesses and things like that. You know, they're fantastic people. They're just
Yeah.
great people. They're from all over the world, and they're just the great open-minded people, and they just enjoy, you know, living in paradise. So yeah, the people there are great, and like you say, you know, like I think I think you know we may end up moving there, you know, living there for a couple of years or something like that before we
What kind of
move to.
business would you open up there?
Right. Well, I've always wanted to run a restaurant, an English restaurant, because there aren't any English restaurants. So I've always wanted, because I am a really good cook. I love cooking. You know, some great foods. My favorite food is Mediterranean food. I love cooking. So I've always wanted to open a restaurant and run a restaurant. So if I did move there and think about a business, yeah, I'd probably open up a restaurant.
Well. Okay, maybe we could have Baldy Brian's you know, English cafe or something. Get in, get
Yeah,
your get your tea, mate. Get
yeah,
your calf,
yeah.
mate.
Or Camelot, ye old
Pamela.
English restaurant, something like that. Yeah, yeah. Make it look like a castle.
Well, Brian, we're going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link your channel in the description in the comment section. So everybody go over and check out your channel, Baldy Brian in Thailand. Great channel. I love it. I think it's a positive channel going on cool adventures in Thailand, and you deserve to have a lot more subscribers for what you're doing.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for everyone for watching this video. Yes. And yeah, check out the link and subscribe. I need subscribers. I'm stagnating at the moment.
No worries. Look, I hope you do well. I hope you get some subscribers from doing the interview. And listen, next time that I'm back in Thailand, I want to climb that mountain with you on Koh Chang. Let's do it together, and we'll obviously get a Thai guide. We won't do it alone, but I want to go up that
I've got a
mountain.
local guide. Yeah, I've got a
let's
local
do it.
guide.
We can make a video about it.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah.
All right, sound.
Thanks for interviewing me. It's been great. It's been great chatting to you.
No worries, Brian. You're a legend. I enjoyed chatting to you, and I'll see you in Koh Chang. We'll go up that mountain in Koh Chang. All right.
We'll do it. We'll book it. Okay. We'll do it. I've got a guide. I've got a local guide. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Brilliant, mate. All right. We'll chat to you. You got my email. Let's chat on email, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay, Pete.
Okay.
Take
See
care.
you, Brian. Take it easy.
Thanks a lot.
Bye,
Pete.
bye.
Take care, mate.
You're
Bye-bye.
a legend. Bye, bye, bye.